Time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome. We are getting ready for what I think is the greatest sporting event ever, Pilk. My Carolina Hurricanes into the Stanley Cup Finals. I can hardly wait as a longtime Caniac. I wish they would have started the thing like at 3 in the afternoon. I'd have a better chance of seeing this thing through.
Well, they'd be coming down to crunch time right now, and you'd be in the middle of the show, and you'd be trying to watch. Maybe if they started at 5, and then it would end around 7:45, I think that would be more ideal for you than the 3, because, it'd be tough to watch the end right now. And we couldn't get Mike Maniscalco on while he was doing the game, so,
It's a good point. It's a good point. They play these things too late.
They do.
They really
Stupid
do.
West Coast. If they wouldn't have found the damn gold in California in the 1840s, maybe all these people wouldn't have moved out there, and we wouldn't have people on the West Coast, and then we wouldn't have to play sporting events late.
Speaking of the West Coast, I guess it's an election day, primary election day is how they call it in California. And, they don't do, there's not a GOP ballot or a Democrat ballot. It's just like an all-skate. And then they take the top 2. It's very California.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
It's very California. But I think there will actually be some Republicans on the ballot for the November elections, which is probably a nice change of pace in California.
Yeah, or at least get some Democrats up there that are, textbook Democrats.
I don't know if there's such a thing anymore, Pilk.
I know some that live here. I don't know if there's any left in California, but I've got friends here that are like normal Democrats that still think that, boys shouldn't play girls' sports and, you shouldn't ask for a litter box in a bathroom. I mean, they're normal people. They just believe in tax brackets and, things like that.
Who wants a litter box in a bathroom? I've never heard of such a thing.
There are people.
Well, tomorrow on the show, just to give you a little setup for the rest of the week, Wags will be with us. Jonathan Wagner, friend of the show. They've set the times for the Super Regionals. A few of them will end on Monday as regularly scheduled. I think at least 1 or 2 ECU guys as of today have. Matt Lashley, he jumped 2 feet into that portal.
Yeah, he did.
Which, I can't. What'd you expect? I don't think that was unexpected with him.
No.
LeBlanc, Sacre Bleu. LeBlanc says he's good to go on Thursday, Pill.
There we go. Good to hear.
So Canes Country, Brian LeBlanc, who I'm sure will be watching tonight with great interest, will be with us on Thursday to give us a primer for Game 2 after my Carolina Hurricanes take a 1-0 series lead over the Golden Knights.
A lot of confidence there. You got a little action on this one, PJ?
I don't. I hadn't even thought of that. Maybe I need to go put a little something down. I don't know. I don't know a lot about hockey betting. I don't know about a whole lot about any betting, to be honest. But hockey betting, I don't know a whole lot about.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how that. You're basically kind of picking who wins the series, I guess, right?
You can bet on each individual game.
And then there's certain parlays I think you could kind of do that if somebody gets a point or it's like a half a point, will they get more or less? Or yeah, that's kind of fun, but that seems like a tough one.
I didn't know if you were just doing like Canes minus 1.5 at plus 160 or whatever it'd be, just hoping they win it by 2.
No, I don't. I think that might be a little bit of a fool's errand.
Okay.
Because I think it's going to be so low scoring, Pill.
I think so. I think it do, but I can see Carolina definitely up 2-1 and hitting an empty net or something. That would be the
okay. That's
thing.
what you're hoping for at that point.
Yeah.
Somebody hits an empty netter. Well, let's start there with the top 5 at 5 this afternoon. As Pilk mentioned, the great Mike Maniscalco has been good enough to join us today. So we'll get a primer on the series from the voice of my Carolina Hurricanes. Mike Maniscalco coming up, but like right now, as we sit here this very moment, let's do the top 5 at 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Did we ever, do we have any interns today, by the way?
Yeah, they are in the other room ready to hit record on our Maniscalco interview, and we'll be, working on that.
Who's with us today?
Kayleen and Mary.
Does it take 2 of them?
No, they're both here. Yeah.
Okay. How do they know that we're not going to say something pithy during the top 5 at 5?
We can always go load that in, but the system we use, Patrick, every minute we load into the system, it takes away a credit. We only get so many credits. We're trying to stick to the guests, and if we do something specific, I can go back and pull it later. But
I see.
Maniscalco is a little is a little more known than us, PJ.
Speak for yourself, Pilk. All right, go ahead. What do we got?
Number 1, as we've kind of hinted at, the Carolina Hurricanes will be hosting Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Each team will be playing in their 3rd Stanley Cup Finals in franchise history, and both will be looking for their 2nd opportunity to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. Game 1 tonight. Game 2 inside the Lenovo Center, as PJ mentioned earlier, will be Thursday night before the series shifts out to Sin City on Saturday.
Neighborhood I used to reside in has one of those neighborhood groups on the Facebook.coms. And basically all it is you're complaining about, people not cleaning up after their dogs, or here come the towing company to tow people if they're an inch over into the sidewalk in their driveway. Just crazy stuff that people complain about. Those darn kids and their fireworks. I mean, just whatever. If you're an HOA, a member of an HOA or neighborhood Facebook group, you get this stuff.
I find it comical.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. It can be a little tedious, but there are people on that site earlier today that were selling not even tickets together. They were like maybe a row apart or 2 rows apart. And one of the tickets, they said, we're not reselling. These are season ticket. We bought, but one was $1,750. The other was $1,650. And on the secondary market, they're going for as much as like $3,000, $3,500. Parking could be $100 tonight, Pilk.
I'm Ubering, baby.
I wonder if if the Uber has to pay to get in.
No, they probably just have to drop you off at the. You probably just get dropped off there on a. What is it? If you, it depends on what side of what road you're on,
Apex.
I guess. Where they
get dropped off at Apex,
and you got to walk a mile.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about tonight. Maybe Maniscalco will change my mind.
We'll see.
But I'm a little nervous about tonight since they are my Carolina Hurricanes.
Number 2.
We'll get a whole preview of the game from Maniscalco. So.
Yeah, number 2, going kind of off what we talked about yesterday. Our friend from Front Office of Sports, Amanda Kristovich, tweeted, this was actually like late yesterday after the show. Yeah, we wrapped up amending the Sports Broadcasting Act and the merchandising by which college sports conferences would be able to pool and sell media rights together. That's not the main subject of the hearing, but I would be surprised if it comes up. The hearing she is referencing, sorry, I probably read this in the reverse order. Chairman Jim Jordan invites NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to testify at the committee's hearing examining the Sports Broadcasting Act on Wednesday, June 10th, 10 a.m. against Congress. So I think this has to do with the the NFL getting away with some of the
Streaming.
Yeah, the streaming and breaking antitrust laws and getting away with it. And this has to do with college sports doing the same thing. Like a lot of the Big Ten games are just on Peacock and whatnot like that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the NFL. Well, maybe I don't know. The Big Ten, because it is big time football. So, apparently, there's also a couple of senators that are getting behind. They're having hearings on this Protect College Sports Act pilk.
Yeah.
So here are some of the people that are going to testify, I guess, tomorrow before a Senate committee. Nick Saban, Orange Satan himself, will be there, the former Alabama head coach.
Love it.
Mr. Pete Bavacqua, who's the AD at Notre Dame. Gordon G., I believe it's G or Gee, one of the two. Gordon G., the president emeritus at West Virginia University, so he's not even there anymore. The woman, Teresa Gould, who has been stealing money for years, she's the commissioner of the Pac-12, and then they actually are going to have a student-athlete from the University of Utah, which is a good thing that they're going to actually have a student-athlete participate in one of these. I don't think the Trump thing had any student-athletes there at all.
They're the ones who should be in it the most. They're the ones that all this affects.
Right. So it's good that an athlete will be testifying there, albeit an athlete from Utah, but nonetheless. So, all of this is kind of happening. Again, I just the NFL thing, I think, is a lot more likely to have something happen. But here's the issue. The networks need the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL probably realizes the networks' coffers are about to go dry on this stuff. In other words, the Roger Goodell's job is to get as much money as he possibly can for rights fees. What can he wring every red cent out of? Well, there's not unlimited money with network television or even Disney. There's not unlimited money to these things. Because none of them, I'll bet you, unless you have a Super Bowl, you're probably not making that money back on a given year. There's not enough ad revenue to make that kind of money.
Yeah,
back.
you'd have to have 7-hour games because you'd have to have that many commercials.
Well, you have to sell it. It doesn't matter how long to get. You have to be able to sell it. I just don't think you could sell it for enough money.
Well, I'm saying you'd have to have so many ads the games would last 7 hours. Is what I'm saying. You'd have to do like 10-minute commercial breaks.
Right. I don't even know if that. I mean, you'd have to expand. Because probably what you're charging for a lot now is exclusivity in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
To be in that. But you just can't charge that money back. Or charge enough money to make it back.
Yeah.
And the streaming platforms right now have seemingly unlimited money. But the streaming platforms didn't get unlimited money because of the NFL. They just have that money because it's the in vogue thing. So the streaming platforms don't need the NFL.
Yeah, they don't.
So it's a dangerous little game, Roger Goodell's. But basically, he's made this, whoever the next commissioner of the NFL is, that'll be their problem, not Roger Goodell's. Now, these hearings or this action that could happen might expedite that a little bit. I think you're going to have, what will end up happening is, and maybe they do this now, the streaming games have to be made available in the market of interest.
I think they maybe have already done that.
And that's what they'll say.
Yeah.
And maybe they become, that footprint becomes a little more expansive.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tell you, last Christmas, I spent Christmas Day with my grandparents. I felt like it might be the last Christmas they were together. It proves it's the case. I didn't know if my granddad would make it to another Christmas, and he did not. And instead of being able to watch something he would like to watch, which is the NFL, because they didn't have streaming, we couldn't convince him to watch the NBA. Not a fan of the NBA, Mr. PK, God rest his soul. You want to hear some comments, you would bring up the three letters NBA to Mr. PK. You'd hear some comments. But, that's an extreme case because it's two people who are in their 90s.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people with cash that are more affluent that aren't streaming subscribers that are kind of being frozen out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope I'm not telling totally out of school. I won't use a name, but someone in this building who really likes NASCAR is not watching 6 races out of the year because this person doesn't have Prime Video.
Why are you telling a doctor no like that?
No, it's not doctor.
3.
Alrighty, number 3, the NBA Finals. Speaking of the NBA, does start tomorrow night, and if you're a Knicks fan in the city of New York, you do not have a bedtime because an executive order has been signed by Mayor Mondani. Here's the audio from it. He had some young children in his office, I believe this was yesterday, signing an executive order of no bedtimes during the NBA Finals. Oops. Sorry, didn't have the thing up.
Here is our mayor's order repealing kids' bedtimes for the Knicks finals run. Are we ready? Who here was alive in 1999?
This is the most normal human thing he's done. Obviously, it's a joke. It's funny. It's a publicity stunt. These kids are in here. You know, these kids are too young to even sit through a 2.5-hour game. These were not 12-year-olds. These are like 7-year-olds. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, that was a cute thing. I'll give you that. When you first sent me this, I thought, well, maybe there's some kind of restriction on certain things, but then it's New York, so they would have no restriction.
Oh, yeah. You're saying like some of the cities have put in because of all the looting and rioting. No, this was just for school-aged children.
Or concerts. You know, you can't have a concert past it because of noise ordinances. I mean, though the event's indoors, and even though it's New York and it's 24-hour chaos as it is. But you're right. There's also the aspect of the looting. Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, look, I think the major city on the planet, the major media market is where the NBA, and so they'll do very good numbers on this.
Yeah,
I think they're going to do really good numbers on this. People will be excited about it. You've got Wemby, who is probably globally a phenomenon. I'm Pilk. I may tune in.
Okay, 8:30 though. Will you be awake?
Oh, that's even starting later than the hockey?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Hey, you know who's going to be happy with all these kids staying up late? You got to keep them up. How do you keep them up? Candy store owners, baby. Yeah. They're going to be pulling in the profits tomorrow. Sugar them up.
When do I guess maybe schools aren't out in New York yet?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, they're not around here. Schools still have a little ways to go, don't they? Maybe it's the last week.
Dude, it's different. Like, and some of them have gone in the last couple of years to kind of the college calendar, and they're done, and some haven't. So I don't know.
Kiddos, man. Thankfully, there aren't any. We'll talk more about the finals tomorrow, I presume.
Yeah.
Do we have Joey Football as a possibility?
I can text him, see what he's up to.
Why don't you see what Joey Football's up to?
Okay.
I would like to get his take as a New York guy on this. And we haven't had him on in a while. So.
All right.
But you're right. That was a nice story. It was a cute little thing he did. It's kind of, the city's behind the Knicks, obviously. They're very excited. Been waiting for this for a long time. And with the Lakers being in a weird spot, having to deal with Beijing, a little foreshadowing there, with Beijing and the Celtics just this year totally collapsing in the first round.
Thanks
much to your chagrin. Yep. It's helpful that the Knicks are involved in this.
It is. Yeah. It's good for
helpful that they're...
And a lot of people like San Antonio. I think I've liked San Antonio for years, too.
Well, they seem more tolerable now that Popovich is no longer on the bench.
Yeah.
Because he'd become kind of a crotchety old liberal man.
4.
All righty, number 4, bad news on the Pirate side or former Pirate side of things. Zach Agnos has been optioned down to AAA Albuquerque. He did a couple weeks ago having what was supposed to be an open and ended up going 5 shutout innings. However, since then, he has thrown 2 innings against the Dodgers and where he gave up 7 runs and 1 inning against San Francisco where he also gave up 7 runs. His ERA total on the year is 7.78. In what is 16 appearances, he has an 0-0 record.
He'd been really bad as of late, as you outlined with some of the numbers there. I mean, giving up a lot of runs, even more than that if you kind of extrapolated it out. So, and they also made room for another guy, didn't they? That was part of it, too.
Yeah.
So he was expendable. That's the unique thing about the world of baseball. If you're not performing in some of these other sports, particularly the NFL, you get cut. If you, I guess in basketball, they could send you to the G League. But in baseball, you can always go back to the minors, get it sorted out, and come back. But, that happens to guys who aren't bona fide, big league for lifer kind of guys. And the Rockies still stink. I think they're better than they were last year. They're on a
Beat
better
the Angels
pace.
last night, baby.
Well, is that a huge thing? I mean,
No, they both have the same record now. They're like
Right.
22 and 38.
Right. It's like the nicest guy in prison, Pilk. I mean, that's, what does that tell you? But, I mean, I think it's like this time last year, they had won single-digit games, clearly, right? If I recall.
Yeah, I think they were maybe up to 10 or 11 at this point.
And now I think they had 23 victories last I saw.
Okay, so 23 now.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're better. But last year, yeesh. I also wonder, too, and I would want to ask him this. It can't be good to pitch there. I mean, the numbers bear it out. It is not good to go there and pitch. Right?
No, it's not. I mean, that's why they haven't had a really good rotation, really, since 2012, 2013.
Yeah. More than a decade.
5.
Alrighty, number 5, back in
Hey,
November.
where is their AAA, by the way? Is that a Pacific Coast?
Albuquerque, so just right down
Okay, so
I-25.
So he would not ever necessarily have a chance to pitch in Charlotte or
Yeah,
Durham
unfortunately,
or
yeah.
Norfolk. Okay, all right.
Alrighty, number 5, back in November, Steph Curry and Under Armour split ways. As Steph put it, he was a shoe free agent, and his free agency came to an end late yesterday afternoon when he signed with Chinese sportswear company Li Ning. I have no idea what the hell Li Ning is, but
No, I don't either. So this is clearly to obviously sell product in China.
yeah.
There's no way that he will, and maybe he will be forced to wear those in the NBA, and actually they will try to sell them domestically. I guess. What would the tariffs on that be? Probably enormous. But, again, we're back to the dirty little secret of, like with Beijing, these NBA guys who are always, and I think Curry's even been one of them, correct me if I'm wrong, Pilk, who are always quick to criticize the greatest country on earth because they don't agree with the politics of the White House or with the politics of half their consumer base. 80 million or whatever that voted that way. They're quick to criticize and speak down to, but they will sure as hell accept some Chinese money.
I know.
And you're not talking about a more dictator, awful regime than the Chinese. And I mean, Curry's a hypocrite. He has proven that. Did Steve Kerr, did that ever come to an end? Because the big thing you were reading right after they got a bounce in the playoffs that even the liberal San Francisco ownership, West Coast ownership, were growing tired of the Steve Kerr diatribes and lecturing and the just extreme leftist out of step politics these rants that he would go on.
Yeah. I mean, he's still employed.
It's just a bad thing. Way to alienate half of America.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That whole thing's look. This comes down, Patrick. It proves why does the NBA salary cap keep going up every year? It's not from American viewership because the American viewership's down.
International.
It's international viewership. It is Chinese viewership of basketball is the reason this keeps going up. Because there's no reason the cap should be going up higher. Now, it should be higher because more people watch the NBA than the NHL, but it should not be going up in greater jumps in the NHL, in the NBA than it is the NHL. More and more NHL fans are happening every year in the United States. Less and less NBA fans are having it every year.
The more, well, you sort of see it right now with baseball and the way that these regional sports nets have collapsed. I mean, there's a little bit of a shell game. There's a little bit of a house of cards there. At some point, it has to come home to roost with the NBA.
Yeah.
Especially with all the things that go on in that league of load management, the game at times is unwatchable.
The foul baiting, Shay.
Oh yeah, just a lot of things that go on that aren't that make it. Yeah. When it's good, it's great
Yeah.
because it's the best players in the world, and a lot of possessions. When it's good, it's great, but when it's not, it's not, and that's really rough. But how about that? Do we know how much money he got?
Nah, I didn't see that. I don't think that's out officially yet.
May never be. The Chinese government doesn't want you to know. That's conspiratory, isn't it? But he got a tinfoil hat for the next segment.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right. The next segment will include our dear friend Mike Maniscalco. He is the voice of my Carolina Hurricanes, who skate tonight in their third Stanley Cup. Taking on a couple of hockey hotbeds. All right, when we come back, we'll hear from Mike Maniscalco on The Patrick Johnson Show.
Listen up. He is talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
That's right. My Carolina Hurricanes. Game 1, Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas Golden Knights tonight from the Lenovo. The voice, the legend as he's known now, the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes, Mike Maniscalco, who once said, "You should have me on your show more." Little did he know, we're going to have him on the show all the damn time now. So here he is, Mike Maniscalco, our great friend, with us on the Patrick Johnson Show. Mike, how are you?
Patrick, in the words of Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer, I am rolling. Thank you very much.
I'm trying to think back. Where were you in 2006? You were in the market, on the radio?
I was in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
With Sports Radio 910. I was working for the Virginia Sports Network as well, which was part of the UVA broadcasts. So that's what I did, and and then a year later, I ended up here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
So when you've talked to people, obviously, other than the cost to park, what is the difference in the last 20 years?
Well, I think you've got to go. There's so much to cover in that time span, Patrick. I think that you've got to go like the last 8 years, and it's since Tom Dundon officially took over the team as the owner, and the money that he has put into the roster for these players to get into the position where they are right now. And then the other big thing for me is Rod Brindamore behind the bench. I mean, he is, if you want to draw a direct line between the Carolina Hurricanes' success in their history, Rod Brindamore is the post that you tie that line to. From captain of the team in 2006 to what he has done now as the head coach in the last 8 seasons as the head coach, just building to this point for Carolina. So there's a lot of things that really do go into it, but for me, it's Tom Dundon and putting the money into the product, into the players, so they spend the cap. They're not afraid to go after big free agents or make big swings in the front office to go and put themselves in this spot. And then the guy who is running it all at the ice level, the head coach, who has put these players in position to succeed the way that they have.
We've got Mike Maniscalco. He'll be calling on radio the Stanley Cup Final, which I know he's very excited about. Frederick Anderson has been nothing short of spectacular during the run. What will Vegas present as far as problems for the defense, but also for Anderson potentially?
They're a big team, and they can get to the front of the net. They've got size up front. On the power play, they have so many good players when you're talking about Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, Pavel Dorofeev. I can keep running down the list. William Karlsson, Ivan Barbashev. They do a great job of getting to the front of the net, taking away a goalie's eyes. They're not afraid to play at the top of a goalie's crease and kind of make it claustrophobic in there for them. And again, the talent level of a couple of their top forwards being Marner and Eichel, they're two of the top, however you want to play it out, I would say top 15 forwards in this league. Eichel, you could make the case for top 10. Same thing with Marner, the skill that they have. But if you're Frederick Anderson, you just keep playing the way that you've been playing. And I know the team in front of them is going to keep playing that way. But Vegas is a different kind of animal. They're not going to be like Montreal, where they're going to refuse to shoot until they get the best shot. They're going to throw a lot of rubber to the net when they can. And when they do, they've got players who go to the net hard. And that's one of the things that really Ottawa tried to do, but they didn't have the horses the way that Carolina has it. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for Frederick Anderson in this series.
So nationally, it seems, and I mean, I don't have the straw poll here, but the pundits seem split. What, in your opinion, would give Carolina the edge?
I think their depth up front, the fact that they can roll 4 lines, and the health that they have with those lines right now heading into this series. I think that their penalty kill, if you're not going to have a good power play, you got to have a good penalty kill. And Carolina has had the best penalty kill overall this postseason. So you have to have that. I know they're ranked number 2, but it was Boston that limited Buffalo to nothing in their first series, but Boston lost. But you've got to have that. And the other edge for me for this Canes team is defensively, their group of 6 is just a little bit better than what Vegas is going to put on the ice in their group of 6, not taking anything away. This is going to be both teams. And it's kind of hard to say this for a team that dispatched the Colorado Avalanche, who were the best team in the regular season and looked like a juggernaut. They got rid of them in 4. But this is going to be the hardest series for both teams this postseason, just because of the way that they play. Their styles are different. Carolina is going to get the puck in deep. They're going to go grind. They're going to get after it. It's the way that they play. Vegas, they're not wide open. They're really content to sit there and say, okay, we're going to block 27 shots a night, and a couple of them are going to spit out over the blue line, and we're going to go have an odd man rush. And depending on who gets the puck, they usually find a way to bury it. So, I mean, this is going to be a really interesting chess match, because the difference between these two teams is kind of hard to shine a flashlight through, just based on their ability and their talent and the way that they play. And I got to give John Tortorella, and you got to give Vegas credit. They fired Bruce Cassidy, who won them the Stanley Cup as their coach in 2023. They let him go with 8 games left in the season, Patrick, and it's been the right play, because this team has responded to what John Tortorella has asked them to do.
Visiting with Mike Maniscalco here, the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. Mike, you mentioned the Golden Knights there defeat the Colorado Avalanche in 4 games. I mean, obviously, Carolina and Colorado, a lot different teams, but is there anything you think they can take away from what they did so successfully there in that series against Colorado and apply that to this Carolina series, or are Colorado and Carolina just too different?
I think it's just they're a little bit too different on that one, Pilk, just from the point of how Colorado plays. They are, all gas, no brakes offense. They're going to get the puck on you, and they've got, so many skilled players. When you take a look at McKinnon and Landeskog, I think the big difference in that series, not saying that the way that it played out, but not having a completely healthy Cale Makar on the blue line for the Avalanche, who he's just a special player. If he's not the best defenseman all around in the NHL, I'd have to ponder a minute or two to find out who I would take over Cale Makar in that situation, because he's just that special. But it's, for me, I think it just really comes down to the fact that, this is a Vegas team that they can be really patient, but they play such a heavy game. They push everything to the outside, and you've got to be willing to get to the inside, to pay the price. You're going to get hit when you get there, because they've got some defensemen. That's what they do. Rasmus Anderson, they bring from Calgary to, get a little bit of a more offensive defenseman on the blue line to complement Shea Theodore, who is their offensive defenseman. But Anderson plays a nasty game. You've got Braden McNabb, who is a nasty physical player that they have. I can keep running down the list of what they bring to the party. And they're all guys who, if they get off the bus, and Patrick and Phil, if you're on the side of the bus watching them come out, you're like, I thought it's a hockey game tonight, not a basketball game. I mean, these are big guys who play with bad intention.
Yeah, one of the things that Carolina's done so well is just the suffocation of teams, particularly when they try and enter. They force teams to dump and chase when they don't want to. You mentioned it a couple answers ago that at the end of the day, Vegas is content not having a lot of zone time. They're content, as you mentioned, having their defense create their offense. You mentioned it's Carolina's toughest task. Is it the toughest task because this is the best team Carolina's seen, or is this the toughest task because maybe what Carolina does so well, Vegas is not as vulnerable to allow those things, for allow Carolina to be successful in that field.
I get what you're saying. I think it's a little of both. It's a little column A, it's a little column B. I mean, this is the best team that Carolina is going to play, and it's not going to, at least not early on in the series, it's not going to impact what Vegas does the way that it did. And I mean, you could even see it in game one against Montreal, even though the Canes lose that game. And it was, you look at the final score and it was every bit of a 6-2 game. But the second period, Montreal kind of learned, oh, this is how the Canes are going to want to play. And that's what Carolina did the rest of that series. Vegas will be fine with that. They'll be like, okay, you want to play defensively? Both of these teams are very comfortable playing a 2-1 game, a 3-2 game. Where Vegas, I think, is going to be frustrated and where the Canes can take advantage. Carolina just doesn't give up a ton of second shots. They get the puck off of a rebound and they're getting it out of their zone. It's going up the boards and out. It's going to safety. They don't allow a lot of those second chance goals. That's what makes them. That's why when you look at the end of the night, there's only been 16, 17 shots by the opponents, because the Canes do such a good job of transitioning the puck as soon as they have it. They don't play around with it. They're not trying to make something creative. It's just out of the zone. The aerial flip that I joke about, it's the patented Jacob Slavin flip, the gap wedge that he plays with when he finds the puck, and it just nestles right to the hole. But you've got a bunch of guys who do that now. They get the puck to safety, and they're going to be like, now you got to come back in and try to get past us again. And that's the most frustrating thing. But for a veteran team, Vegas will bide their time. Montreal, young team, that gets frustrating after a while, going, there's no place to move. Ottawa got frustrated. There's no place to go with the puck because the Canes are on you because of their man-to-man defense. So it's a little A, it's a little B. But I really think that as far as the Canes are concerned, and it's going to become a battle of wills, because I don't think either team is going to come off of the way they play. You can't go all of a sudden in game 3 in this series and be like, well, we've played this all year. Now we got to do that. It hasn't worked in the first 2 games. These two teams are going to stay as steady and true to their identity as they would in game 1. As if we get to a game 7 in the third period, they're gonna stick to doing what they do best.
It would seem, as it kind of always is, special teams aspect and the power play and the penalty kill are the big X factor. But give me a couple guys for each team that maybe aren't the marquee guy that could be X factors, either on those special teams or just in some way have an imprint, maybe early in the series at least.
Right now, somehow Brett Howden has 10 goals, and he has been a demon helping kill penalties. So he's a guy who would jump off the page to me for Vegas that you wouldn't necessarily have as your household name. The other one, I actually said 2 of the names, Ivan Barbashev, who's got a Stanley Cup cachet with Vegas and with the Blues back in 2019. So, he knows how to win and play in these games. And then the other guy for me is, if we're not talking about the super household names, he will be one because he's going to get paid soon, is Pavel Dorofeev, who is just a supremely talented player. He's the guy, like Marner and Eichel get the attention in Vegas. Dorofeev is a guy who you really have to be worried about. For the Canes, this can be super easy for me, Patrick, because I can go with Eric Robinson, Mark Jankowski, Will Carrier, how they play. And then I can throw in Jordan Martinook with, he hasn't had his Jordan Martinook Conn Smythe series yet. The way that these two teams play, this might be set up for Jordan Martinook to have a monster series. The way that he has, especially against teams like New Jersey, where he has risen to the occasion against them. I think that this is a series that is absolutely tailored for him. So those are the names that are off the grid, off the radar that you wouldn't expect that could tilt it. Maybe Dorofeev is a little bit one of a more marquee name. He's not Frank Sinatra. He's more Joey Bishop, but he's still part of the Rat Pack, and you have to be concerned about that.
What a reference. Let me ask you, and I was just told this from friends that went, and obviously it wound up being pretty electric and staying electric, but it was especially on the first goal, very loud Friday night. And then obviously the blowout, I don't know if it takes steam away, but, it's sort of fait accompli at a certain point. How does that factor in here? I mean, we often hear in this particular tournament, home ice means very, very little, but it just, I don't know. It seems like there's a little extra juice about Lenovo Center.
I've said this before, and I will say it again. There is no team in the NHL that feeds off of their crowd more than the Carolina Hurricanes in the group at Lenovo Center. And the other part of it too, Patrick, and when I talk to Canadian media and you try to tell them, well, Lenovo is louder than all of these places. And they're thinking that, oh yeah, you have to say that. Part of it is the construction of the building. The roof is not that far away from the ice, and you've been in there. So this group is loud to begin with. Well, it hits the roof and it's got no place to go. That it's not a cavernous building. So it comes right back down on top of you. It doesn't get pumped in. And this is, by the way, it's not disrespectful to say that to, Ottawa. Yeah, your fans are loud, but the building is not loud, or it doesn't stay loud. Montreal, that's a place that gets freaking loud. I mean, you got 20,000 plus Montreal fans. Like, they're all in there, all in their red jerseys. And for the most part, they're really supportive of their team, and they can get loud and stay loud. But that's also a bigger building as well because of the way it's built. But that's one of the places where when they're roaring, that rivals Carolina as far as the noise that's there. And you can see Montreal can play off of that when you get a little bit of that boost. So Vegas, the other side of it is they bring in their noise, and fair or not, they make that a loud building with the show that they put on with it, right? With the music and everything. And I'm not, there's too many of these old guys out there, shaking their fist at the cloud. Do I need to have the bass shake my water while I'm in the booth? No, I don't need that. But, it kind of draws off of it. And their crowd there, the one thing that people take for granted with Vegas is they think, oh, it's all these transplants or whatever. For years, Vegas was told, you can't have this, right? You can't have pro sports. We can't put a team in Vegas because of the gambling. Well, there's a lot of people who live there who, aren't going to the casino. They aren't on vacation, and they want something to call their own. So that's why they really took to this Vegas team. And the other thing is they're spoiled. This is their third trip to the finals in 9 years. So they know nothing but winning hockey, but their fans get behind it. So, but not the way that Carolina gets that. And juice is a great word. They get that charge from the crowd at Lenovo Center. And, the players have said it, and it's not lip service, that when this group needs a little something, and the Caniacs, the Canes fans are going nuts, it gives them that little added dimension against an opponent. And then the other side of it, and people don't think about this for hockey, but it makes communicating for the other team hard. Like, you have to, you call out things. You're not doing like, it's not an NFL huddle where you're trying to call out the play, but if you're trying to call your defensive partner back, or you need somebody to come back and get the puck, if they can't hear you, that creates a little bit of a delay in the action, and that's an advantage for the Canes as well.
Well, very excited for you and your colleagues on the Canes network, and looking forward to the puck drop in just a little bit. Have a great call. Enjoy the series. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already here, Patrick. I've waited, no lie, my whole life to get to this moment, and now it's a couple hours away, and here we go. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Should be a great series.
All right, go Canes. My Carolina longtime Caniac, the great P-Man here. Long time. All right, we'll be back with more right after this.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
All right.
Everyone, a little breaking news for you.
In an unprecedented decision, the State Board of Education's Independent Interscholastic Athletic Appeals Board, yikes, has overturned the disqualification of Mallard Creek track star Nyan Brown in the NCHSAA 8A state championship meet. So now Mallard Creek is the co-8A champion with Jordan High School. The board of directors for the NCHSAA convened for an emergency meeting this morning to confirm the decision, which was passed down from the Athletic Appeals Board. Pilk, what happened here? He was basically flagged for excessive celebration.
Yes, I can't remember if this was the 4x1 or the 4x2. I think it was the 4x1. And the young man's coming across the line. He doesn't turn towards his opponent. He doesn't taunt. I guess he held up like a number one, or he fist pumped, or a little bit of both, and they DQ'd him. And it just came across the line, boom, celebration, disqualification. I mean, again, no taunting was done. From what I understand, it wasn't even that he was being that flashy. Like, whatever idiot judge DQ'd him probably should not be allowed to do that anymore. But, I mean, when Q Tucker's running the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, what do you expect? I mean, you expect stupidity from that woman. So that's part of it.
Pilk going all in on Q.
Never mind. Don't want to get FCC popped.
No, I understand. I think that that's one of those deals. It's a judgment call, and I've not seen I've obviously read about this and heard about it, but it seemed like everything I could gather, there was not. It's not like there was a clear violation, where he broke an obvious rule.
Yeah.
Or left the starter block early or something like that, or was that? I mean, it's not even a technicality on a rule. This was a pure judgment call from what we both understand. And so, even though it was a little bit of a process, they did the right thing by taking it to the appeals, and the appeals has apparently turned it over. There's nothing better in track. The 4x4 is one of the greatest sporting challenges ever.
Yeah,
fantastic. The 4x4 relay, love it. I'll stop.
I loved it except for when I had to run it.
Relay.
It's great to watch. Tell you, it wasn't very fun to run.
I would watch it if you ran it for sure. I would watch it if you ran it.
You need a sundial.
Were you the anchor? Where were you?
No, I ran the first leg. The one time I had to run it, I had to fill in. It didn't go good. We got second, but probably got first. Had the other guy. The other guy got stepped on while we were warming up. Dude's spike went through the other guy's shoe, cut it, and spliced his foot open. And they were like, "Hey, Pilk, you got to run the 4x4, suit up." So, yeah.
So your race mates about got you to the finish line.
Yeah. They
despite your efforts.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
I gave it effort. It just wasn't. It was execution. It was lack there of execution.
Okay. Are we to understand though this was the right decision?
100% the right decision.
Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the best decision you can make with the circumstance you put yourself in because some idiot made a stupid ruling.
I'm surprised it took this long, but at least they got it right, apparently. All right. Thanks to Mike Maniscalco. Thanks to Pilk. Thanks to our interns. We'll be back tomorrow. Wags. Jonathan Wagner talking college baseball with us. And I'm sure he's, like myself, longtime Caniac, hoping that the Canes can pull it off tonight. Have a great evening, everybody.